We have another big betting scandal in MMA, not involving any UFC fighters or coaches. I'll tell you about all that in just 1 second here. My name is James Lynch. Before we get into today's video, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. Those three things really do help out this channel a lot, and I'm putting content on here every single day, so that notification bell is going to let you know when new content is up here on this channel. Okay, so I mentioned it there. We had a lot of drama going on, MMA Twitter, MMA betting Twitter specifically over the last couple days during the Christmas holidays, involving MMA Lock of the Night, Manpreet Jas, someone I've known for a very long time. I knew him way back, almost a decade ago, back when I lived in Toronto. Never had any issues with this guy. And this video is not to sit here and crap on him per se. It's more to bring awareness of the situation. And also, kind of talk about a bigger issue, which I'll get into a little bit later here. But if you don't know Manpreet, he is MMA Lock of the Night. You've probably seen him on YouTube as well. He does a lot of betting content. He actually went full time with MMA betting a few years ago. He has a Patreon. He's on a number of shows. Like I mentioned, he does, used to do some work for the Action Network. So this guy's pretty prevalent in the industry. And he was also running these challenges where he would get a bunch of people together and run these contests where basically people would pick fights, right or wrong. And whoever obviously came out on top would get all the winnings and et cetera, et cetera. He was running these contests basically. And I was hearing some rumors about some issues with these contests back in September, just little rumblings about people not getting paid, and didn't pay too much attention to it because it didn't seem like it was something that was that big of a deal. But fast forward to December 22nd, we're going to go through the timeline here a little bit, but some really, shady stuff. And I'll be honest, when I first saw this, I thought, okay, he probably is having some issues paying people. I sort of gave him the benefit of the doubt. I actually didn't say anything publicly on Twitter or anything like that. I just, was going to let the process play out because I'll be honest, I see a lot of people on Twitter like to bully and gang up on people for things that aren't even exactly proven yet. So I wanted to kind of sit back and take everything in, but now it's pretty clear that there's a serious issue here. So we're going to start here with December 22nd. I DM'd the winners on Tuesday with the links to the soft update and updated them. Been running through verification recount since yesterday. Should have it done by tomorrow. So this is December 22nd. The time we're recording this is December 30th. So we're, like a week later here. Letting the chirpers chirp, the issues between me and the participants. But there were a lot of people tweeting about this, bringing information to the light, which now looking back, thankfully they did that because this, brought forward a really serious issue. People love running with this shit. I'm dealing with directly with the people involved. That's all that matters to me, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So he writes all these tweets as well. As I said in September when this first came to light, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not running away from anyone's money. I mean, I guess that's the silver lining here, is that he is still at least publicly acknowledging what's going on here. But and just so people know, we're not talking about a couple $100s here. We're talking about thousands of dollars. And I'll get into this in a second here. So a day later, he tweets, "I'm done. People being paid out will be messaged when their turn has come up." This challenge is, so he does these, I don't know the exact, abbreviations here, but they're two separate games that he was doing. Enjoy slandering as you please. This guy isn't going anywhere. Also, I hate the folks that I work with being dragged into that. I will agree with him there. There's people that aren't even involved in this directly that are being, crapped on. We're not really going to focus on that in this video, but still a bad look as well. We'll have to make some big changes and not let this blah, blah, blah. I will announce a couple things when I'm back Thursday, Friday. Okay, so this is like Christmas Eve. Says he's flying to go see relatives. He's away. So we don't hear anything for a couple days. And of course, MMA Twitter, there's a ton of speculation as to what is actually going on. And again, at this point, I'm kind of sitting back. I'm seeing some stuff on Twitter, but I'm not thinking too much of this in terms of, this getting sorted out, because it hasn't even been, I forget, the last UFC event, I think, was a couple weeks ago. It's a holiday season. I can understand maybe it's going to take a little bit more time. And by the way, I've been in situations too where I've been owed money. In fact, my full-time job is, being a freelancer. I rely heavily on people paying me on time, and I definitely have had to chase money. I'm still owed money at this point with an outlet or two. So trust me, I understand the frustration there. So fast forward to yesterday, 19 hours ago, December 29th. He says, "I'm working on a detailed and thorough explanation of this whole shit show, which I'll be posting in the coming hours. No more leading on, no more BS." So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, he's going to clear up everything. And I should preface this by saying that the issue in September and the issue sort of leading into December was some issue he had with PayPal. And I've had my own issues with PayPal. Nothing of like pulling money out, but I can understand. We're Canadian. Manpreet's Canadian. I'm Canadian as well. PayPal really is one of the only services we can use to transfer money to people people outside of Canada. So I can kind of understand that as well. And there's some screenshots floating around and everything else. So that's basically, we're waiting for all this to happen. Now, while this is going on, there's a lot of people posting stuff. This was one that really stood out. Trotman Boxing, who has been on top of this for a while, he mentions, why don't you feel comfortable sharing a screenshot of the contestant funds in one place? Surely wouldn't be an issue considering you replace their money every time you use it for personal expenses. So this is somewhat true, but here is a key thing that he admits to, and he doesn't mention this in the apologies. I'll go through the apology a little bit later here. What do we have? Here we go. The reason I'm being hesitant with making sure the money I sent out transfers, the money I received as entry fees, is because the weddings I had a couple months ago obviously put a dent in my finances. I did a dip a little into the entry fees, but always made sure to refill it when I did. Dude, that you cannot do that. Like, that's his first big mistake. If he's even touching the money that he had in that PayPal, because again, we're talking like 30, 40 grand here. I mean, there's a couple contests he was running. The money's adding up here. So he's admitting here in the screenshot, and this is not doctored or anything. This is something he sent to someone else. I can't find the thread of the person who actually posted this, but this is the legit screenshot. I've seen the original poster actually post this. But you're saying that you dipped into the wedding funds. Like, look, I've been married. It's expensive. What are you thinking trying to dip into something that's a contest? I mean, first and foremost, if you're doing any sort of contest, you don't touch that money. He would have been better off putting all that money in a separate bank account and just leaving it there and not touching it. I do that with my taxes. Any tax money I'm owed, I put in a separate bank account. I don't touch it. So here he is admitting to dipping into the wedding fund. So of course, everyone now is going on about how he's using this money for other things. And I think that's completely fair, because here he is admitting that he is dipping into it, even though he's saying he's refilling the fees. Well, you're not paying people, so obviously you're not refilling the fees. Okay, let's fast forward to tomorrow. I don't want to make this video too long. It's already going a bit longer than it needs. For those that care, here's the full story from beginning to end. So initially he said he was going to do a video, and that's why he needed time to get his laptop together. Apparently his laptop was checked in his luggage on his way home, which is weird, because who checks in their laptop? Usually bring it as carry-on. Anyways, that's a whole other issue. For those that just want the cliff notes, the second to last paragraph is just that. So I'll read that. I mean, if you want to read the full statement, it's still up there. You guys can sort of dig through yourself. But here he says, long story short, I effed up. I'm working to pay everyone back for my own personal finances. Okay, why would you do that if the money was not touched? So obviously the money was touched. I've cut ties with every outlet I've worked for. I will not be live in the public space for the foreseeable future. I get where he's coming from as far as not being publicly facing, because, like, you know, he doesn't want to do anything to, like, he's got to pay these people. Anything he does from here on out, he's going to be criticized for that. But he's also kind of running away from the situation by not being public facing. He should be updating everyone if he ever wants a chance of working in this industry again, because he's basically blackballing himself by owing people money. And we're not, again, not talking a little bit, we're talking significant amounts of money. Like, even his co-host of one of his podcasts, it's been floating around that he owes him $1,400. It's a lot of money. I mean, especially this time of year, it's crazy. So anyways, he says, cut ties with every outlet. That was never my intent. Things started to unravel. I tried to write it, but ultimately I wronged myself and those around me. I'm truly very sorry. I will work on myself and ensure I don't bring this type of trouble to anyone ever again. Okay, so again, I'm not going to read through this entire apology here, and you know, but it's pretty obvious he bet away the winnings. He took money out of the account. And again, this is alleged. There's no concrete proof of this, but in this apology, he does not mention once where the money has gone, why the money hasn't been paid to the contestants. Initially, this was back in September, and even earlier than this, he mentioned there was issues with getting money out due to PayPal. His PayPal account was frozen, all of these different things. He doesn't even mention that in here. He just mentions that I'm going to try and pay people back, but he doesn't mention where the money's gone. If the money's not gone from the account, he's mentioning that in the apology. He doesn't do that. Why? Because I am of the belief, and a lot of other people are of the belief, that he has gambled this money away here. And that's one of the things I wanted to highlight in this video. He has a gambling problem. I think it's very obvious here. And I think you're going to see more of this going forward as betting is becoming more legalized. It's easier to bet. We're seeing all these different, in Canada, we're having, a number of provinces now legalizing betting. I think this speaks to a bigger issue here, and it's not to make him the victim whatsoever. I'm just pointing this out because I think you're going to see other people struggle with this. I think there are a lot of people who are struggling with gambling issues. And my view on gambling is this, and you guys know I've talked about this on my Q&As and my live streams plenty of times. I don't have an issue with people gambling. I look at it as alcohol. I think you can be responsible with alcohol the same way you can be responsible with betting. I don't bet a lot of money. I got 2 kids. I don't want to have to worry about if a fighter's going to win a fight, to pay for my kids' jiu-jitsu lessons or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I bet very small amounts. It's pretty clear that he bet a ton of money and now he's struggling to pay it back here. Again, that's my read on this situation. You guys can let me know if I'm offside here, but that's basically what I thought. And you can see here, a lot of people demanding the same thing here. Where's the money? That's it. Doesn't cover the question. Everybody wants to know, where did the money go? I think it's pretty obvious he's betted away, which is sad. I do have some empathy here as well, but the biggest thing is let's hope that he's going to pay these people, because again, there's one guy, I can't remember the exact thing here, but he's owed, the winner of this one contest is owed $12,000 American, and you got to think of the Canadian conversion as well. So he has Canadian funds, but this is American. That's even more money for him on his end. So again, I want to just quickly summarize this up here. I'm not here to crap on Manpreet here. Again, I've never had an issue with this guy, but I do want to bring the situation to light because I want these people to get paid. I also want people to realize that gambling is a real issue for some people, and you got to look at that. I mean, the fact that he could not even admit that he betted this money away in the apology speaks to how bad this addiction could be. So that's another thing I just wanted to bring light here. If you are struggling, there are resources, plenty of resources there for gambling. Just have fun with gambling. Bet a little bit. Don't bet a lot. Once you get that big money, people tend to chase that, and I think that's what happened here. So I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Have you guys been following the situation along? I wanted to bring this up because again, I think we're going to see stuff like this happen again, not necessarily with people owing money, but I think people having gambling problems. And I think it's something that, in this space, again, it's becoming more and more popular with the gambling content. It's something that we should be, sit here and talk about. And like I said, I would love to see these guys get paid. It sucks. I've been there. Like I said, I'm still waiting on money. There's a company I don't work for anymore that owes me money for like 3-4 months now. I'm hoping I'll still get it. I'm still chipping away at it, but it happens. So follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Lynch on Sports. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Lynch on Sports. Let me know any other ideas you guys want me to do videos on. I'm more than happy to do that. More in 2023. I'm James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.